Looks like we made it. And with nothing but a few scratches to show. Think you might have overdone it?
I followed the instructions to the letter. Maybe it triggered a reaction with the Mako?
Well, let's hope the city's still in one piece.
But the planet's what matters, right? I mean, this must have helped some.
After all that, it had better have. Anyway, let's get going. We in Sector 8?
That'd be just down there.
All right then, lead the way.
You got it. Huh.
Hello and welcome back to our Curse Plays
Watch out for live
Final
wires.
Fantasy
They're
VII Remake.
everywhere.
And I think there actually
The
is
air in here reeks.
something to pick up.
Can't
back
wait to
here.
get out in the open.
Yes, no, no.
Man, what is that? I've never smelled anything so foul. Oh, it's me. Gotta do something about that. And soon.
I felt that one in my guts.
They just keep on coming.
We need to get out of this place.
Was it the Mako density? The primary explosive? The blasting agent?
Hey, we can figure that out later.
I'm running on empty here.
You can refuel at the base.
Also,
Next time I'll have to bring a little pick-me-up.
also Jesse, when you're
How
talking,
much farther do we have to go?
Not far.
Jesse, when you talk about like explosives, it kind of makes me like twitch a little bit. Blasting
That's about
agent,
as good a
primary
place as
explosive,
any.
the kind of
Stand
bomb
back
you
and
made, honey.
I'll set
Those
the
things are
bomb.
the same thing.
Can't wait to see you, Marlene.
Can't wait to take
And setting off an explosive in this enclosed space, in an area this unstable, is a really, really bad idea,
She's
Jesse.
good to go. Fire in the hole!
Not only is everyone deaf now, but everyone is now suffering internal
Let that be a
bleeding.
lesson to anything that gets in my way.
Because that wasn't no small breaching charge there.
Attention all citizens. Attention all citizens. This is an alert from the Shinra Emergency Operations Center. Unidentified intruders have detonated a bomb inside Mako Reactor 1. Multiple explosions have been confirmed, as well as ongoing fire. In response, a disaster warning has been issued in Sectors 1 and 8. Structures in the area are at high risk of collapse, rendering the entire sector hazardous. Therefore, all residents of Sector 8...
No. No way.
This couldn't have been us, could it?
But what if it was?
What's done is done.
Merc's right. It ain't pretty, but we can't stop now. This was just the first reactor, and the planet won't be safe till we get the rest.
Yeah. We always knew this was gonna get messy.
And this is only the beginning.
Y'all gotta look at the bigger picture here. Nothing worth fighting for was ever won without sacrifice. Though you may not be crying out, I know you're in pain, just like the planet. But it's okay, cause I'm here for you, to help take the load off your shoulders. Your fears, your worries, your concerns, and yes, your feelings. Whatever your problem, I got you.
So, what's our next move, boss?
That's easy enough. We get our asses home.
I'm going to use this section to talk a little bit about Barrett, especially the way he's portrayed in both games. He does actually have a very consistent portrayal. So you can kind of see his little speech here He's very charismatic, and with the speech he gave us in the elevator in the last episode,
We'll split up and shoot
you
for
can
the
also
last
tell
range
that
hole.
he's not really accustomed to not having people hang on to his every word. And to a point, even his followers, the rest of Avalanche, they kind of know that it's
You can
bluster.
have it once we're back at base.
But he actually fulfills like a trope that Square Enix is well known for. And that would be like the charismatic hero who is way over his
I don't
head.
need to tell you what this is, right?
Of course not. It's healing material.
You can have it for saving my life.
Just doing my job. Nothing more.
Yeah. Fact is, I'm lucky you were there.
Survival can be a matter of luck or skill. And you
No,
can't
it's
rely
luck,
on
man.
luck.
Words to live by.
Yeah, well, thanks.
You do know how to use it, right?
You do know what I was, right?
I really wish you would explain what you were. We're gonna go ahead and skip the tutorial because I've played through it.
I was only trying to help. Oh, before I forget, here's a little something extra for being so brave. That really was the ride of a lifetime. Well, see you on the train.
Alright. So back about Barrett, like that's how Barrett functions in the story.
What if the trains have stopped?
And then we can talk about the elephant in the room. The fact that Avalanche are terrorists. So, well, they're eco-terrorists to be more precise, which doesn't make it any less, terrible. But basically they feel like they've been pushed so far that they can't affect the change that they wish to, that they want to see in the world. That they've resorted to bombing, placing bombs. Even if they used a small explosive and were being very targeted. And even though, like, what's happening right now is a false flag caused by Shinra. Like, that doesn't stop, that doesn't really stop, like, the game from showing what the,
I said look up! Careful up here. This could collapse at any moment. If you want up, you'll have to use those stairs.
from showing, like, these are the consequences of our actions. Like, this is how extreme the group has become. And you can see that there was even a little bit of hesitancy after the fact once they saw this. But Barrett is basically using his charisma to keep the group going. And moving across rubble like this is super, super dangerous. And it's also worth noting, too, that the first responders here, there are Shinra first responders. And by their uniforms, they're also, connected with the Shinra army.
Station's intact. What the?
Oh, broken shit, the fire. So we saw in the last flashback that happened, we kind of saw like the small town. Tifa as a child, probably Cloud as well. And then we see it burning. And then they revealed the ultimate villain to us way too early, in my opinion. That's one of the story changes I disagree with the most. Because to a point, the story and the villain's motivations in this game are super meta.
How? He couldn't be. But then...
So we've got a bit of, like, you know, Cloud's memories and some of his traumas intermingling with what's going on here. That's not been my experience with that's not been my experience with trauma, we'll say. But it is how media popularly likes to portray it. Because you can see, like, the fences and stuff, and the, you know, the houses that just don't belong on the street. Because probably one of the biggest, like, kind of spoilers in the Final Fantasy VII games is that Cloud is a very, very unreliable narrator. We do see things from his point of view all the time. In the original game, there's a lot of points where we don't see things through his point of view. But whenever we do, like right now, it's super unreliable.
You're not real. You're dead. I am. I killed you with my own...
Oh, you need not remind me. It was the crowning moment of our time together. But that was then, and this is now. I have a favor to ask. Our beloved planet is dying. Slowly. Silently. Painfully. Can you bear to see the planet suffer? Cloud. Were the planet to die, so many things would be lost. Your hometown that burns so bright. The sound of her voice, pleading for me to spare you. The shiver of her flesh, yielding to cold steel.
Although something I do like about the way they portray Sephiroth in this, he's very uncomfortable.
That which binds us together would be no more, and I would be loath to live in such a world, which is why I must ask you this one favor. Don't worry, it's a simple thing. Run, Cloud. Run away. You have to leave. You have to live.
You bastard!
Good, Cloud. Very good. Hold on to that hatred.
Those are going to be words to remember.
I'm seeing things. Fumes from all the Mako, maybe. Alright. You got this.
So, at least in this game, Cloud is tangentially at least aware that he's an unreliable narrator. I hate that the game won't let me run. It controls your move speed a lot, too. That's something it's part of, like, when games take control away from the player. I really, really don't like these kinds of things.
Well, can't go this way.
My baby's at the station.
Shooting for the station? Take the alley and climb up to the roof of that building at the end, and you're practically there.
If you make it that far.
An evacuation order has been issued to the occupants of buildings in the vicinity of the Sector 8 Expressway. You are advised to vacate the area immediately. The explosions at
I do really appreciate this whole section where it shows the consequences of what Avalanche is doing. Oh, it's so much easier to navigate this right here because I can't change the
Alert from the Shinra
I can't change the view, and you can't do that on PC either. And navigating this on PC with mouse and keyboard is a lot. It's a lot different than using thumbsticks, where the axis at which you move changes with the.
It is not safe to remain indoors. Please leave your residences.
It just feels better.
Mom, we want to get our toys.
But then again, that's the control scheme that the game was designed for. Like, there's a lot to say with the you know, the PC gaming master race. There's a lot to be said about like how much more precise that mouse and keyboard is. Well, the thing is, if a game is designed with a specific control method, it feels a whole lot better under that method most times. So like whenever the game takes control of the camera away from me, they really did learn from like Final Fantasy X, in that game used a lot of the time fixed camera angles, and they would change as you move screen to screen. And then, but like, if you were moving away like this, and then it changed to this, and you had held your thumbstick in the same direction, it would automatically turn you around, like as if, you know, you'd done like a quick change with the camera. But in this game, it doesn't like change the axis. So like I would continue moving in the same direction, you would continue moving forward until I let off and then hit again. And that just feels way better. It's one of the things that this game does that makes, whenever it takes control from the player away, it makes that transition smooth.
So much for the fast way.
Mayor's a lousy bum.
Then we can see that purple material over there.
Don't let the intruder escape.
And so it looks like the Shinra troops are out in forest looking for whomever, you know, caused this, let alone it's their actual boss. Sometimes you have to feel sorry for the Shinra troops, because most of them, I can identify with them. You know, I was a soldier for a government, and I went to war in another country, a war whose purpose and continued purpose was, you know, quite dubious. But, you know, we did what we needed to do. Here we have one of the most important meetings, and a strange choice on the game designer's part.
You are too weak to save anyone. Not even yourself.
Are you okay?
I find it weird
Are you okay?
that they label her Flower Peddler right here
I'm fine.
and don't put her name in, but they put Sephiroth's name in the
Here,
subtitles.
This is for you.
Huh? A flower?
That's right. It's a gift. You know, for scaring those things away.
What things?
Never mind. Think of it as a memento.
Just my luck.
I heard that, you know.
How much?
Well, that depends on the customer. In your case, it's on the house.
Huh?
Lovers used to give these when they were reunited.
Look, I'm involved in things. Dangerous things.
Oh, I'm sure you are. So?
So keep your distance.
Wait, you think someone's out to get you? Is that what you're all worked up about?
Someone is out to get him.
No one's going to attack you. I promise.
Hey, a Mako reactor just blew. You shouldn't be out here trying to self.
Ah, yes, the time ghosts, as I will call them. One of the stranger design choices and changes to the story that the developers wanted to make.
Drop your weapon!
We'll talk about that quite a bit. That's going to be a big part of every scene that these guys are in.
Are you blind?
You know, you're right.
Wait!
Nice meeting you.
Sword on the ground! Right now!
Oh, you guys chose poorly. Oh, that music changed into the battle music. Oh, man. No, no grenades. All right. So, actually, now that we've triggered things, we can,
Hey, you there!
so it's enemies like this with the stagger system. I know the stagger system, like, is there to give, like, a little bit more depth to the combat. But think about it, like, this weird dog thing just took a ton of like, it would shrug off blows for me before the stagger, like it was nothing. Despite the fact I'm hitting it with a sword that probably weighs like 150 pounds. So now we have to get to the train station. Alright, so insofar as from the old game to the current one, the time ghosts are new. And they almost feel like a big, you know, FU from the developers to the players. Especially the old players. The players who, you know, have been clamoring for a remake of this game for over a decade. Because when you think about it, the original Final Fantasy VII came out in 1997, and it's 2022. Like, it's the latter half of 2022 now. So, like, in 2017, the game was 20 years old. Grenadier needs to go.
Nothing to it.
Let's get another materia here. Okay, so I know I skipped over it, but I have the ability to do stuff now. So, set materia. So we have the fire materia, and we also have a healing materia, and HP up, and deadly dodge. So, I don't dodge too much, but I am going to use healing. HP up raises your HP.
All clear.
I'm gonna make my way through like all of this, because XP is kind of really useful to have. God, you're annoying.
You're mine.
Can I get out of this somehow?
Let's finish this.
This thing's staggered so we can go. I was not able to finish this dog when they interrupted me.
Not bad.
Alright. Pair of power wrist guards. So that's accessory item. So we have our weapon, we have our armlets or armor, and then we have an accessory. So that's basically how the original game ran, and that's how this one runs too, as far as equipment goes. So you're less reliant on equipment in this game, and I'm actually talking both this game and the original. You're in general less reliant on equipment and more reliant on making meaningful equipment choices. Because now I'm doing significantly more damage. Now I'm dealing damage to this on a critical, like as if I had him staggered.
Let's do this. See ya. Let's get this over with.
Even though this game looks like an action RPG, it's only kind of that. Alright, so we can use Cure. Something I'm gonna do is, oh, why these guys? So the game isn't really reliant on very many action RPG mechanics like dodging and rolling. It definitely makes a difference, but like in general, like you can just spam your way through. You are gonna die.
It's over.
Don't let him escape! Give up! Those forces engaging target and Pocket Plaza. All nearby units converge and provide immediate support.
I'm actually looking around for
Requesting immediate reinforcements at Fountain Plaza.
for like items, because I know there's some around. There it is.
That's that. Enough.
Target still mobile. Support. Proceed to rally point at the station.
So much for the direct route. Find another way. Use the rooftops, maybe. But the rooftops look clear.
Alright, come on, just let me get the item here. Because like, before I started playing this, I have started and scrapped both a Let's Play of Dark Souls 1 as well as Monster Hunter. And coming from those games, which are very reliant on their action RPG combat mechanics, but this one doesn't really have a lot of that, even on normal for most non-bosses.
Steel hole access immediately. Target sighted. Get him.
You can see more soldiers coming in. We're gonna have to deal with them when we get down here.
Don't underestimate him.
I don't want to attack you, I want to attack you. riot troopers, we have to get behind them or waste magic on them.
Nothing to it.
I see him!
Was never in doubt.
Confirmed. Target has entered residential area. Full lockdown is in effect. All units.
You're mine now!
The auto target in this game is pretty phenomenal. Like, the game will go and auto target an enemy immediately after you take down one, and then your character will make a really, really good dash for him too.
Let's go.
So that part of the combat I like.
Get the bastard! Ready whenever.
Two of them.
No holding back.
There we go. There's also the concept in this is that I feel like there's a lot of filler in this because they took
Get ready. It's over.
Screw you!
That's that. Enough. Here we go.
oh come on. I really don't feel like wasting magic on it. I was interrupted in trying to say something. I can't remember what it is.
Surrender yourself to public security immediately! You are free to run!
Get ready. You're done. That's that.
Oh, it stunned me.
You're mine.
Oh, I didn't accidentally kill him. But he's about to go.
Nothing to it.
So out of combat, we can heal without needing ATB gauge. Mako Shard, you're actually useful right now. No item can hide from me.
End of the life, punk! I'm gonna enjoy this.
There we go. Took them on, so now I can get these guys. And our kind of like little boss of this area is here now, the Huntsman.
Ready whenever.
But I do want to clear out all the chaff first.
Do your worst.
Before I really deal with him. As you can see, like, that barely hurt him. So, other than him being a different color, there's nothing that distinguishes him from the other enemies in the area.
Time to burn.
So, like, this is where
Need a light?
how the
All right.
this is your first experience with, you know, the fact that the combat system can start falling apart.
Calling fire.
Do your worst.
Okay.
No escape. This won't take long. Let's finish this.
Snub-nosed punk. Move in! Don't let him escape! HQ, this is Sector 8, Unit 2. Target is surrounded. Moving to secure.
Wait! I know that.
So I bet that one soldier is going to have some interesting stories to tell. Because he recognized Cloud. So in the original game, that actually kind of really makes sense here. So when I say there's something wrong with Cloud, there's something wrong with Cloud.
After all.
He's basically
No need to assume
lying
the worst.
about
I'm sure
everything
he's
right
fine.
now, but he
You
doesn't
saw him in
know that
action,
he
didn't
is.
you?
He has some
Guy's a
serious
soldier.
memory problems.
Goddamn one-man army.
You think he's a keeper?
Jessie's written really interestingly in that, like, half of the things she says is a double entendre. She usually means one thing. She says one thing but means another, and she does that all the time. Cleverly
What the hell you
written.
been up to, huh?
Giving public security the runaround. That's what. Had to draw them away from the station somehow.
Nicely done.
Well, can't argue with results, huh? What?
Wait. Got a question for you all.
What?
Ever been attacked by an invisible enemy?
What?
Wearing robes. Came and went like the wind.
Thought they were invisible.
They were, at first. Only saw them after she grabbed me.
A new Shinra weapon, maybe?
More like a panic-induced hallucination.
Never mind. Forget I said anything.
Suit yourself. Come on, let's move up.
A lot of people here.
And in the freight car, too.
Because of the evacuation order, maybe?
Lucky us. We've got a crowd to hide in. Head for the front of the train and hold there.
Due to an explosion at Mako Reactor 1, an emergency schedule is now in effect. Your understanding and cooperation is appreciated.
No guards here, right?
Like, the camera's claustrophobically pulled close in here.
Stop that right now!
Let me through?
So cramped.
Where is it when it happened? Okay, got it.
Am I supposed to talk to somebody, or?
were hit as well.
Stop that right now!
So what's interesting about her, this girl right in front of us here,
What the? Oh, that's weird.
she's a character we're gonna meet again later. I wonder if it's just like lack of I wonder if it's lack of NPC characters, or if her placement here was on purpose.
Hey,
This game doesn't make that exactly clear.
In Sector 8, so
Why don't you learn to take a hint, buddy?
You're, holding up pretty well, huh? Even after what we saw at the station and all over Sector 8?
I'm a
Why don't you
soldier.
learn to take a hint,
Wow.
buddy?
My hands are still shaking.
You get used to it.
Something to look forward to. Or maybe not.
Why don't you learn to take a hint, buddy?
Little help, Cloud? Please? I can't stop thinking about it. The bomb I made shouldn't have produced an explosion that big. It doesn't make any sense.
The explosion triggered a reaction with the Mako. You said so yourself.
That was my first guess, but shouldn't a reactor have fail-safes to prevent that kind of thing? You mentioned invisible enemies back there, right?
Right.
No. I'm just looking for excuses for something that was clearly my own fault. Gotta own up to it if I'm gonna learn from this and move on. Thanks, Cloud. You're a good listener.
I doubt this will be the last attack on a reactor.
When I talked about earlier about like things that there are certain things like the player characters, like let's say Jessie over here, like she's very high res, very high detail, but then we look over our shoulder here at this screen and it's very low res and barely moves, and there's gonna be a lot of that going on in this, and it's gonna get worse as the game goes on. They put a lot of effort into this section of the game.
Go so far as to bomb a reactor.
They've yet to announce it publicly, but I heard it was Avalanche's doing.
Really? Aren't they the terrorists who tried to kill the president?
Is there nothing they won't do?
Hey, quit talking out your ass. Everyone knows Avalanche only cares about saving the planet.
Just who do you think you are?
A law-abiding, concerned citizen.
With a gun for an arm.
Really?
Shh. Don't antagonize him.
In my humble opinion, that explosion was a message. A message to the bastards bleeding our planet dry. Think they got it? Heard it loud and clear? Y'all's masters?
We will not submit to intimidation or violence, but work together for peace and prosperity. That is how civilized people change the world.
That's right.
That is the Shinra creed.
It's kind of weird though, how
It's what we believe. We all have to follow our conscience, don't we?
We should go.
Right.
it's kind of weird how they pose this. So like, you know, basically when it comes to like loyalty to corporation or employer, that's something that's basically that's basically alien to me. As I've said before in my Arma Let's Play, I worked for a major retailer for a while, but I have absolutely no loyalty to that company, or really any company for that matter. So like, the way they were acting seems very alien. However, you know, the origin of the game is Japan, and their culture is probably a little bit different than mine on that front. However, I'll also take note as to how the game is framing, you know, how people solve problems. So, the people working for Shinra, you know, they quoted the Shinra Creed. We're never going to hear anything more about that. About how, like, changing the world through peace and prosperity. But as we've seen, as we're going to continue to see, that's not actually how Shinra does anything. But, you know, they also are put sort of like in game politically on an opposite spectrum to Barrett's group, Avalanche, here, and how Barrett's group, they take action, and violence is a means. So it's weird to show that however ignorant they are of the evils of their corporation, that the bad guys are shown as, believing on doing things through peace, whereas the heroes are the people of action and trying to achieve it through violence. And that's another kind of theme that's going to go through the game. That is something they kind of added, because in the original game, none of the main characters questioned, the bombing of the Mako reactors or the fallout thereof. It was just treated as, yes, we finished the mission, now let's go do it again, because doing so will save the planet. I love how they added so much more nuance to this situation.
Shinra creed my ass.
And now we're going to get a bit of exposition about kind of like the nature of the city of Midgar.
Let's get this out of the way. Personally, I find visual aids make the dull stuff a lot more bearable. If it helps, think of it as an initiation rite.
How many times do I have to tell you people? I'm not...
There's such a thing as playing too hard to get. So, here we've got a wireframe model of the great city of Midgar, complete with massive steel plates suspended 300 meters above ground level, atop which stands a shining beacon of civilization. The whole system is sustained by the Mako reactors, which feed the insatiable appetites of the public.
The train will be passing through an ID checkpoint shortly.
This here is the train's route. As you can see, it'll take us around this main pillar. Look, we're about halfway through it now. They've set up a checkpoint here to scan the IDs of all passengers heading in and out. Date of birth, residential status, criminal history, all that and more is automatically cross-referenced in their databases. Public security wouldn't have it any other way. Heads up. Don't worry, our IDs are impeccable. What'd I tell ya? Have a little faith. Won't be long till we reach the bottom. Relax.
Take a good look. It's because of that great big pizza in the sky that people down there gotta struggle to survive. Shinra sucks up Mako while the soil turns to dust, the air fills with smog, and the flowers die.
Then leave and don't look back. That's what's always worked for me.
Well, that's all well and good, if you're only out for yourself. But the folks down there don't have the luxury of choice, you know?
Man, I have the urge to just pause like the cutscene so I can like discuss what they're talking about.
I suppose. There's only one way it can go.
Or as the original game put it, there ain't no getting off of this train we're on. But they did really succinctly like talk about like how the social situation in Midgar works.
Sweetheart. Don't worry, I'm fine.
Goodness.
Knew it couldn't be that bad. No way.
Hot damn, we are good!
Yes! Bombs detonated 1, members lost 0.
And one step closer to a brighter future.
You know, after you do something like that, you need to shut your mouth about it.
Lower your voices, huh? People are listening.
Oh, right.
Now get some R&R. You've earned it. Just be ready for the next mission, all right? See you soon. At 7th Heaven. You know, where Tifa works. Don't keep her waiting. She'll worry.
So, I did want to you know, pause during the cutscene on the train, just to talk about, you know, the social situation in Midgar, as they mentioned it. So, as we went around the pillar, there was the ID checkpoint, and she mentioned all of the things in the database that, like, that ID checkpoint is checking for. So, like, if you have a criminal history, or, you know, depending on where you live, Shinra can basically shut you down off of moving throughout the city. They can shut down your literal freedom of movement. And then they also talk about, like, if they have that control over the freedom of movement, then, you know, the people who are down here, people in the poorer slums, they stay there. So, you know, there's the upper plate up there, basically, where, you know, the rich and middle class live, and then there's the lower classes that live in the slums, who basically depend on the conditions up top. If you think about, like, the struggle between, like, workers and owners, you know, which is, you know, some classical capitalist talk. And then the, you know, so Shinra basically controls, you know, mobility. Both physical mobility as well as social mobility within Midgar. And so they can, if they want to, they can just freeze it for people, which they probably oftentimes do. And then in the original game, you know, Cloud talked about, like, oh, then people should just get up and leave. And Barrett mentioned that, you know, the people down here don't really have that luxury. In the original game, he talks about, like, oh, maybe it's just because people love their land and they don't just want to move, and this place is their, you know, their home. But it's a little bit more literal in that, because in the original game, you leave Midgar and then later on you can come back, but you need a special key card to get in through the gate. So Shinra can probably keep people from leaving as well. So sometimes when you go to Midgar, you might get stuck there. And we'll see that more in the expansion about how difficult it is to get in and out of Midgar. But even the reactor bombing is a big thing down here, and even down here in the slums, whether or not Shinra is a good or bad guy, it's
Huh. Mako is the lifeblood of the planet? Yeah, the hell it is. Goddamn eco-warriors with their dumbass posters. I tear them down and they're back up inside of an hour. Like I've got nothing better to do. I mean, look at all that steel work. You trying to tell me that's not progress? What the? You okay, buddy? Mako junkie, huh? Figures.
Turn to the Space Ghost.
You again.
Oh, Time Ghost. They're Time Ghosts, not Space Ghosts. But, even, that guy there goes to show that, like, people down here are even split as to whether or not, Shinra's a good thing or not. And, you know, we're going to talk more about Avalanche itself later.
When I get back, it's refueling time.
And you, Jesse?
I don't know. Figure out how I screwed up?
Ha! You're such a kidder.
Alright, well, this is probably a good enough place to stop for today. Thank you for watching. This is Sarkuris, signing off.